Coming up this week on The Local Game, we look at round 5 of the NPL where some incredible games took place and some exciting results in the state leagues. And later in the show, I'll be catching up with Jared Clark after returning to FK Beograd's side after 2 games playing for Vanuatu. That's all coming up in today's episode of The Local Game. Welcome to The Local Game for episode 7. If you're joining us on Keko Media YouTube or on Channel 44, it's a pleasure to have you back once again. Another huge week in local football, and we can't wait to cover it all. Once again, I am joined by a couple of co-hosts today and one special guest co-host as well from Adelaide City, Nicholas Bucco and also Alessio Carrocci. Boys, good to have you on board.
Thanks for having me, Johnny.
Yeah, it's good to be here again. Got some football royalty today, so we're going to have a good show.
Yes, the face of Adelaide City and also the National Premier League, Nicholas Bucco.
Thanks for making me blush, guys.
Well, it's good to have you on board, and we're going to talk a lot of football today. There's heaps to get through. I can't wait to do it with both of you, especially you, Alessio. State League 2, some astounding results down there as well, which we'll touch on a little bit later. But first, let's go straight to the hot topics. Something close to home for you at Adelaide City. Ashley Young, who sadly passed away recently. There was a tribute match to her in the doubleheader with the Adelaide City women and also the Adelaide City men. There's a new thing coming out as well. So the Sport SA just announced recently they're going to do a scholarship fund in her honour, the Marjorie Jackson Nelson Ashley Young Scholarship Fund, which is to help women with new opportunities. How great is this to honour someone like Ashley and all the hard work she's put into the women's game?
Yeah, it's a fantastic initiative. I think the other night when we played against Beograd and the girls played against Sturt Prior was a success and a wonderful night for obviously the WNPL head coach, Tian Powell, who was very close. And it all means a lot to those girls. So, very, very happy with the way it all went. And it was great for us to be able to help them in supporting it. Yeah,
she's done a lot for the game through Football SA, through the women's game, Adelaide City, also with in the Sandful as well, with her work at Norwood FC is where she was currently working. So it's fantastic to see this initiative continue on in her honour, which is fantastic, and all the hard work she's done at schools as well. So very great initiative from Sport SA and looking forward to seeing it continue. And next as well, a legacy that's going to be left here by one of our youngest players at LA United. And the story, Irukunda, made history on the weekend, scored a hat-trick, the youngest in A-League history to get a hat-trick, but not the youngest in Australian football overall. That belongs to John Panagas, Dimmy Panas. Dad, how great is this to see, first of all, in the story, get the hat-trick and make history, but also to have 2 South Australians up top?
You can't forget his other son, Harry. Harry, I know quite well as well. So, Dimmy, you're not the only child, mate. You got your brother too. But yeah, pretty crazy that 2 South Australians are the top 2 in Australian football history for that stat. And just wanted to comment on Nesta's hat-trick. Like, that first goal, the way he took that goal was unbelievable. Like, just showed everything about his ability with his precision shooting and the power that he generated. And then obviously his other 2 goals were combined his speed and power, and just, what an unbelievable talent. And let's hope he goes far for our game and for our people here in South Australia.
And the buzz he created that night as well by scoring that hat-trick on the 250th A-League men's game at Cooper Stadium. Couldn't have done it any better.
Yeah, I was actually at the game. Been there. I go there all the time. My nonna and my cousin, and just what an electric atmosphere it was from the get-go, especially the start of that second half. Some people probably haven't got their chips at halftime yet, and he's already scored 2 goals. Probably got a record for the quickest brace in the A-League, maybe. You got to check that one. But yeah, it's just fantastic to see, and what an occasion for Adelaide United to have such a strong performance at home. They've had a poor season, but to really ram it home to their home fans. They've got one more game to watch him, so make sure you get down there.
Yeah, definitely get around that. We'll talk later on about the impact he's had on the younger fans as well, which we'll touch on later in the show. But what a great performance it was, and what a great performance from FK Beograd. Let's head into the round 5 action for the NPL. What a game. I don't think anyone expected Beograd to, knocked out. We were expecting Comets to lose points at some point after winning 4 from 4, but in the NPL. But the way that Beograd did it, come back from 10 men down at halftime, but to turn it around and get an early goal and then hold on to it for the rest of the game, what a great start for him.
Yeah, great result. Looked at them closely the other week against us, and they set up really well. I thought they had some good quality players and very dangerous on the counter-attack. So it didn't surprise me that Trimboli scored the way he scored. He took it very well. But yeah, it just shows this league that you can't just rock up and think that you're going to get 3 points. Every game is going to be a battle, and I think it really sets up the season very well when you look at the table so early in the season that it's so tight.
Well, absolutely. And we look at the result and see Beograd 1-1-0. Jakobsen got that late red card in the first half, which meant that Jared Clark was on the bench due to the international duties that he just came back from. But he was forced to come into the second half to help in the back. But someone that did a lot of hard work in the back was Josh Kavanagh. An astounding game from him. And if it wasn't for him, they easily could have come back, LA Comets, towards the end.
Yeah, he's obviously a former teammate of mine. I played with him at Olympic, and I always thought he was probably the best keeper I've ever played with. So finally getting a chance regularly at FK Beograd. I know he had a few games at Adelaide Olympic, but even the first few games he's played for them so far, he's keeping someone like Jamie Signorella out of the squad. So it's always a tough thing to do, but he's kept his place and he really won the points for them there.
Well, definitely. And then let's look at the other team, which they're going to come up against in a couple of weeks, is Raiders. We're excited for that, Beograd Raiders. But Raiders took on LA City. This is your team, Nicholas. Unfortunately, didn't go your way. 2-0 loss. What'd you make of that match?
Yeah, I thought Raiders actually impressed me a lot. They played some good football. We tried to put them under pressure. They continued to play out from that at times, but also we did pinch the ball a couple of times, and we had some really good chances, especially in the first half, that we didn't take. Probably been a bit of the story of the last 3 weeks where we haven't scored a goal, and we have been creating plenty, which is frustrating, but that's okay. We'll keep going. We'll keep working on the track with our finishing and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, I think it would have been nice to just to get a point from that game, but safe to say Raiders. They worked very, very hard, and I got to give them a lot of credit. They really impressed me, and I'm looking forward to that game against Beograd in a couple of weeks. I'll definitely try and get down there because I think that's going to be electric.
It will be. It's going to be an incredible game. I've already marked it off on my calendar. Make sure I don't work that day so I can be there for it. And lastly, let's go to the Campbelltown City game as well. A 90th minute equaliser from Josh Baresi in his second appearance back after a long-term injury. What do you make of the game, Alessio, and a red card for them as well?
Yeah, well, another game this week where it's interesting to see the team gone down to 10 men, still managed to keep their hopes alive, keep the loss away from themselves. So it was good to see that they could do that with James Boffer's red card on the hour mark. But it was also good to see as well South Adelaide really putting their foot forward as well. JJ Rideout scoring another goal. Yep. Excellent dummy there from Tyrese as well. But a couple players coming back. I mean, Mark Marino got straight back in the lineup after scoring off the bench last week. It's only his second game as well, but it's going to be a really enticing clash between two titans of SA football this week coming up, Campbelltown versus Adelaide City. And I just wanted to mention as well in that Adelaide City Raiders game how electrifying it started. I remember clicking onto the live stream, the first 5 minutes, I reckon there was 2 saves from either keeper, corner, top bin save, crossbar hit from someone. And I think it's just a testament to see how electric any team could be in this league, no matter if they're away from home or not.
Absolutely. And you got them this week. What are you looking forward to the game and coming up against them?
Well, obviously we're on the back foot a little bit with our last 3 results, so it's always, I think it's a good thing that we're playing against Campbelltown now because we can put it right. It's always going to be a massive game, as Alessio said. Like, they're always one of the best games to play in, and for spectators and neutrals, always the best games to watch. So really looking forward to it. I think, as I said before about every game, you can't take it for granted. So I think a lot of teams have learnt that this weekend. And I think, for example, South Adelaide, Jonathan Rideout, I've just got to mention him because he's just been unbelievable in the last, not just this season, but in the last few years for South. I just think every week he just does something and I'm just like, wow, this guy is on another level at the moment. So I just want to give him a quick shout out because I think he's just been fantastic and really helped South Adelaide. And I think he's obviously a pivotal part to helping them if they're going to stay up. But yeah, really excited for the game against Campbelltown. Hopefully we get a really good crowd and yeah, just a very, very good opportunity for us to put our recent form behind us and get back in touch with the top of the table. Definitely.
Well, Campbelltown just 2 points from the top, which is LA Comets at the moment. they'll look to try and get back on that winning streak for the LA Comets. Well, don't go anywhere. We'll be back to cover the state leagues where some incredible results happen on the weekend. Don't go anywhere. It's a local game. Welcome back to the local game where we're going to take a look at the state leagues now. State League 1, some great results there. We'll take a look at the Cumberland game, a 4-0 win over West Adelaide. Something we didn't expect. West Adelaide have done well this season, but Cumberland have not managed to get a win. They just got their first point last week in round 4, but now got their first win. What a great result for them, and how important is this to Terry and his side now?
Yeah, I think 100% because with State League 1, I think there are so many big clubs, so many strong teams in the division that you don't want to be too far behind the pack early. And I think Cumberland have high expectations of themselves, and West Adelaide being a promotion rival clearly because the way they've started their season strongly as well. So yeah, big win. Didn't expect that. Big statement win for Cumberland, and I'm sure they'll think that they're going onwards and upwards from there.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I mean, they've got quite an experienced side, Cumberland, so maybe it took them a few games to get going, especially with how some of these young sides are starting their seasons, like your Fulhams and your Blue Eagles with a young core as well in there. But yeah, a couple of goals from Harley Jepp as well. What do you think of his season so far, Nick?
Yeah, seems to have been picked up where it left off last year. Scored a fair few goals, so very sharp player. Loves a goal, loves a penalty. So yeah, I'm sure he'll continue on his merry way. And they've got the likes of Liam Wooding and Thomas Dittmar and plenty of experience in there. So it's going to be a very, very interesting State League 1 campaign, I think.
Well, the Strikers managed to get their second win of the season against Salisbury United. I think everyone tipped Salisbury to win that one. Alessio, what do you make of that fixture?
Yeah, it looked like Western Strikers started off well. Another veteran, Adrian D'Alfonso, scoring early. And then it looked like a minute of madness in the second half. 59th minute, Salisbury get a goal with a penalty. And then right after that, Jacob Lavery scores for Western Strikers. So it looked like there must have been quite a tense battle. I know they battled it out quite intensely last season in State League 2, and they were both obviously the clear favourites. But it's really good to see that Western Strikers can keep pace with the rest of the pack. I know a lot of people would have thought maybe with the less of the signings they made this year that they might not have contended up there, but beating Salisbury is always a tough task. I know it was at Western Strikers' home ground, so it's a little bit easier, I would say, but it's definitely good to see them get a win.
And a miraculous come from behind in the State League 2. Cove FC, equal top, 5 wins from 5. Just the same as Adelaide Uni. What an incredible come from behind for them, for the Cove, to do it against a team in the Demons who have done very well this season, haven't lost a game just yet until this moment here. 3-1 up at halftime. Then they managed to equalise, but get that final winner in the 95th minute by Ben Visser for the Cove to take the win. They've been a very strong side this season. Do you reckon they're just going to be one of those teams that's going to be very hard and also probably cement their place in that promotion top spot?
Yeah, well, these are some of the first few goals they've conceded, Cove. So this is obviously a team that they've had some difficulties against coming up. One of the first teams. I mean, the only goal they conceded prior to that was against us, 3-1 win for them. So it's good to see that even with a 3-1 deficit at halftime, they can really come back, and they've got that attacking prowess. I mean, they've got some veterans in goals as well. Ryan Veach, a good friend of yours. Yep. But it's good to see as well. I mean, Northern Demons have got some tough games coming up as well. I think they've got Adelaide Uni before the break as well. And they've obviously got that cup game, which they want to cement themselves in the quarterfinals of the cup. So, I mean, it's good to see that both those sides really contest with the top of the table, when you can't also count out Adelaide Uni. Big 1-0 win at home against Eastern is always a tough result.
Definitely. Well, what a great result down there. They've got some great players in that squad, so I'm looking forward to seeing how they go for the rest of the season. But one to look out for, the Cove. But also another one as well. We've got our first coach that's left the club now. Unfortunately, Seaford have sacked their coach, Andrew Shaw, after their 1-1 draw against you, Alessio. Mount Barker. Looks like you have that effect on coaches now. Is that what we got to expect for the rest of the year?
I mean, I'm a Liverpool fan, so I know we've got a few coaches sacked in the past from Man United, but I mean, it's not our rival Seaford, but it's unfortunate to see. I mean, 5 games into a season, they were still in touching distance of the top 6. If they did eventually get the win over us, they would have been 4th. So it's not all doom and gloom for them. I'm sure they've got a lot of players that have got something to say, and they've still got a lot of the season to go as well. But I'm just glad as well we can kick off our season. I mean, no one wants to start the season being the team on 0 points, a couple games in. So, I mean, us and Sturt now got at least 1. So hopefully both teams will get a win before the break. But other than that, it's a good start. It was a tough game, 2 Reds as well. But that's what you get down south. It's always a tough game.
Both down to 10 men, and we're looking at dribble as well because we don't have live streams of your game. We just got to rely on you sending us your Vayo highlights, but which you do every week promptly, which is fantastic in the group chat. But looking at dribble, you don't know that you guys had a last minute goal penalty that you could have taken out the 3 points right at the end. Unfortunate not to get it.
Yeah, I mean, the first penalty I won myself, and the second by our captain Anthony Taylor, and the same player Michael Weston stepped up for both, and it really shows his eagerness to get off the mark. I mean, last minute of a game, you only got the big players that will step up for them. I know Nick would have had a few of them in his time taking last minute penalties, and I'm sure I've learned a few ways to win them as well from watching video highlights. But yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate way to end the game, but both teams had chances, and you really got to take the positives in saying that you had really 2 positive avenues to goal, and that's better than we had in the previous week. So,
well, we'll look forward to seeing how you guys go in the future. But what an exciting weekend of football in the State League. So make sure you watch all the action on FSA Leagues, but also keep an eye on the Dribble Up to see the updates of the State League too. Or just keep watching this show. Well, we're going to go to Kicking It with the players, and let's hear from some of your favourite players in the local league.
South Adelaide.
I was at Port Adelaide Pirates.
Probably winning the under-17s league. That was awesome. Going undefeated for the season, I reckon we did. So that was pretty cool.
Going to every first team game, sitting on the scoreboard, going to the local Etherton takeaway during the half time. Yeah, it's a great club, that one. So.
Charlie Grant was in our age group. She's doing amazing things now. Chidiac, played against her. So yeah, a few girls that have gone on to go big time.
Yeah, James Skeffington definitely was one of my favourites.
Always love hearing from our local players. Now let's hear my chat after their win on the weekend. I caught up with Jared Clark straight after the match. Jared Clark, mate, congratulations on the win. A huge win to knock off Adelaide Comets from their winning streak heading into the season. Round 5, you put it to an end. You got the job done with 10 men. How are you feeling?
Yeah, like you just said, first win, and for them to have won 4 out of 4 so far, and for us to be able to win against them, great feeling. Obviously buzzing, and we sort of had two losses here to start off our campaign, which we're not happy about. But now to back it up now with a win, hopefully this is the first of many at home. So yeah.
Well, especially with your performance, you came off the bench in the second half because of Jakobsen getting that red card. So you've come in defence for him. How do you make of that of the second half coming in? Because you came out firing. First 5 minutes, managed to score that goal. Adelaide Comets, obviously, they were the stronger team on the day, but you guys somehow managed to get the 3 points. What did you guys talk about at the half-time break?
Look, I wasn't in sort of in the sheds for much of the half-time break because I was out warming up. But the message was just to sort of be patient, sort of soak up the pressure as much as we can. When we've got it, to be as smart as we can, try to keep it, look for the channel balls down the side.
Woo! Jared Clark! Yeah! Well, that's why we do live interviews like this. I like doing this. I'm going to do this more often to get the real atmosphere. And Donny, he's out. Sorry to cut you off there, but he's out for another 8 weeks. How much are you missing him as captain this year?
Obviously, he's a big character as we just saw. But it's still good to have him in the change rooms. And unfortunately, we've lost him for, like I said, another 8 weeks. But it's been great to see Damien and Fro really relish their opportunities in the midfield. Both, young midfielders. And they've taken their chance well, and they've performed well in the last few matches. So.
And briefly touch on it, you were on the bench for the first half. That's because you just came back the day before this match from international duties with Vanuatu. How was that? A 6-0 loss to Guinea, but a 3-2 loss to Brunei, a bit better in that performance. How do you feel playing in both of those matches?
Yeah, obviously a great honour and privilege to be able to play for Vanuatu. And yeah, it was a great experience, from going there, you've got security and escort sort of to and from training, official buses, playing on some beautiful surfaces as well. But then, to test yourself against, Guinea, all professional players, and then in Brunei, a lot of them were playing in the Singaporean professional league as well, so a lot of great players there. But we showed some great signs in the second game, as well in the first. I think to lose 6, not good, but I think, from looking at paper, you might have expected us to cop a lot more, but overall good experience for all of us, and we'll take that into qualifiers at the end of the year as well.
And how good is it to be here on a Saturday night playing in front of your home crowd? And look how they're sticking around, and we're like an hour or two after the game ended. How good is it to be here in front of them and celebrate a win like this?
Yeah, obviously really good. Even better when you get a win. Everyone's a lot more relaxed after a win as well, and a big one as well. So look, we're just enjoying it now, and you can see how much it means to people here. And it's great to be a part of it. Everyone sticks around and enjoys time together, and has fun.
Well, good luck for the rest of the season, mate. Enjoy the Chavaps. I just had a couple, and I'm looking forward to having more throughout the season.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Always great chatting with Jarrod Clark, and what a great honour to see him playing in the Vanuatu side in those international appearances. Well, we've got more to come. Don't go anywhere. It's the local game. Welcome back to the local game. We're about to wrap things up for another week. But before we do, let's take a look at some of the results from the weekend. And as we mentioned last week, the Cup kicking off again for the WNPL and WSL Cup. And on the weekend, there's some great results. Let's take a quick look at those results. Mowbray Jets women got the job done 6-1 over Cove FC. And unfortunately, the Mowbray Campbelltown City game ended early as it was abandoned due to an assistant referee having an injury, which is sad. Our thoughts go out to him. Hopefully he can recover very soon. We'll hope to see him back out for another game soon, and hopefully it's not too long of an injury. Never like seeing games end that way at all. Let's move into this weekend's action, round 6. Boys, we've been talking about this league coming back for ages, and we're already up to round 6. How crazy. Is it gone just as fast for you, Nick, or is it just... or you got training 3 times a week, so maybe a bit different for you?
Nah, it goes just as quick as it ever does every year, because, like you said, the weeks fly when you're training, and then you got the game, and then you're always, if you have a bad result, you're waiting for the next game to sort of fix that result. So for us, it's been pretty quick this year, especially the last 3 weeks. So really looking forward to Friday night and getting back out there in front of our fans. Yeah, well, let's have a look at this week's fixtures for round 6. Yours taking on Campbelltown City this week at home. Friday night action. How much do you enjoy Friday night football? I love it, especially when you win and you get the weekend off. It's always the best, and it's always good to get a crowd down there, especially against a local rival like Campbelltown. And it's just electric fun. It's going to be one thing I'm going to miss about playing is playing in a game like this.
Well, there's a lot of Friday night football. We got 3 this weekend. We're seeing a lot of Friday night football this year. I'm absolutely loving it. Then you got the South Adelaide hosting Modbury, Metro hosting Croydon. But then on the Saturday, we've got Beograd, Para Hills, Olympic and United, but also Comets, Raiders. That's going to be a big clash, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's going to be a cracker game. I think Comets coming off their first loss for the season, and Raiders winning back-to-back games. Raiders have a lot of young, good quality players that have a lot of energy, and Comets have a lot of experience. So it's really going to be interesting to see how they match up.
What are you looking forward to most from round 6?
Probably, I don't know if Nick likes a Friday night game more or scoring against Campbelltown a bit more, but that's what I'm looking forward to. Hopefully I can call a good one. I don't think I've called one of his goals yet, so Hopefully, it gives me something
Got
special.
to make that right.
Yeah, hopefully, it gives me something special to call.
Well, absolutely. And also returning this week is round 3 of the Go Sunny Solar WNPL. Let's take a look at those fixtures for this week. Salisbury Inter taking on Adelaide City. They'll be looking to try and get their win for the season, their first win, for the season in round 3. And also Flinders United coming off that win against NTC in round 2 will hope to get the win against the LA Comets. Not going to be easy against the strong LA Comets, but a big test for them. So look forward to seeing all those actions. This weekend, you can catch it all on FSA League's YouTube page. So make sure you watch all those. Before we wrap it up, let's talk about what we spoke about earlier in the show is the Nestoria Nkunda. Great performance, a great player. One more game left at LA United. I don't think we've had a player like this that's lit up the league so much, but also to know that he's going to leave at a certain point. Players normally announce they're leaving after they've played their last game. But we've had this build up for so long, and now we're going to have that final game everyone can head down to. But after the game on the weekend, hat-trick, his first hat-trick, the youngest in the A-League to do so. But the crowd afterwards sticking around. We've got some video from photo evidence from the A-League page on Facebook and YouTube, Facebook and in Twitter. But it just really shows how much he's making these kids, lighting up these kids' moments and being able to experience this.
Yeah, 100%.
We had to treat him
what you're
very
telling me
different
is
to everyone else.
He stayed there for an hour and a half.
Most
Game. That's incredible. It's unheard of, especially for a professional footballer. So kudos to him and looking after the next generation and trying to inspire them. I think it's very important. I think it's been lost a little bit in recent times, obviously with money and with the Premier, for example, Premier League Serie A players. They're sort of unable to get to them because they're so hidden in a way. So I think obviously he's going to Bayern Munich, so he'll become hidden, being in that top level. So I think it's important for him to be able to keep that touch with supporters and I think kudos to him for doing that. I think
that's one thing I like about him as well. And the players that are currently at LA United, all of them did it straight after the game, went straight to the fence, signing autographs. I don't know, in Nestor's case, he was getting pushed to go and do the media stuff with Paramount and the likes, just needing to do the interviews. But he was kept on insisting to go and sign autographs. And then they had to get him behind a rope because they kick on the pitch afterwards. So all the kids kicking, but everyone swarmed. And I know I had my nephew there. He's fallen in love with LA United. His third game with me, and he wanted to wait until the very last moment. So we were the last ones to get an autograph with him. But for him, I could see how exhausted he was. But he just did not leave until everyone was off the pitch and had an autograph that was asking for one, which I think is great. Do you ever have any moments like that? Because this is going to be good for these kids in the future, isn't it?
Yeah, I remember some of my first Adelaide United games when my nono took me. I remember I've got a ball at home signed by the whole probably 2005-6 team on a Bianco ball. So that's just some of the memories you remember where he went out there himself, picked up 2 balls, one for me, one for my cousin to sign, make sure we had some memorabilia to get home. And that's where we met some of our favourite players. My favourite players, Moroni, Cassio.
Yep.
Back in those days. And that's where you really get your love for football. I mean, you play it because you love it, but sometimes you play it because you see things that make you cherish it. So, yeah.
Well, we're almost about to wrap it up, but we're going to bring back Antonis Pagonis from Front Page Football with Press for Time.
Back to my 20-second reality this week, Johnny, and some big news around our leagues. After scoring her first A-League women's goal, Chrissy Panagaris returns to the Adelaide Comets for another year. Meanwhile, in State League 2, Andrew Calderbank takes over the Seaford job.
Thanks for that, Antonis. I think you've just got that role every week now. I really appreciate you doing that for us and covering the things that we don't have time for. And you can read all about all the action in the local leagues on frontpagefootball.net. A great job that Antonis and Christian do, and all the contributors as well on the Front Page Football. Boys, thank you for joining me. A pleasure to have you finally on the show. Nick, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks for having me, Johnny. It's been a pleasure to share the microphone with yourself and Alessio. And hopefully we can do this again soon.
Yeah, definitely. Alessio, thank you too, mate. And we'll see you soon, hopefully. And don't go getting any other coaches sacked, mate, because I don't think we need any more of that.
Yeah, hopefully you can hear me a bit more than you see me. And hopefully you have a good call this weekend. And hopefully, it's a big end to the Easter weekend, but it's going to be a positive one.
I hope I can put one away for him as well, eh?
Yeah, go for it, mate. I'll be watching on YouTube FSA Leagues, so I'll be keeping an eye on that very, very closely. Well, thank you for joining us for another week. We look forward to seeing you all next week. Enjoy the weekend of football, and we'll see you all soon. Make sure you like and subscribe us on YouTube, on Keko Media, and also on Instagram at The Local Game. We'll see you all next week. Have a great weekend. That's it for us for another week.